Having discussed balance sheet, we are now turning to the profit and loss statement, which is the second most important financial statement for financial analysts. During this lecture, we'll focus on revenues or how the revenues are measured. So far, we have learned that balance sheet of a firm shows its financial position at a point in time. Remember the example I gave you before? You bought a truck with 20 lakh taka. So, in your balance sheet, your asset was 20 lakh taka. You took 15 lakh taka bank loan to purchase the truck. So, your liabilities was 15 lakh taka and 5 lakh taka was your investment. So, your equity was 5 lakh taka. Over the time, you have generated revenue from your business. That revenue has built up some cash for your business. So your assets have increased over the time. In the meantime, you have paid some of your bank loan. So your liabilities have decreased over the time and equities have increased over the time. Therefore, if you look at the balance sheet, it will look good. But the question is how your business have been doing lately, or are you profitable with your business, or do you need to sell your business? To find out the answer of this question, we should look at the profit and loss statement of the business. The profit and loss statement measures the firm's performance over a period of time. This statement measures the firm performance for the most recent period. To analyze profit and loss statement, we need to start from the top line, which is normally labeled as sales revenue, or simply revenue, and it ends at the bottom line, which is also known as net income, net profit, or net earnings. Let's look at the profit and loss statement of Bata Shoe Company Limited. If you look at the profit and loss statement of Bata Shoe Company Limited, it starts with revenue, which is the top line, and it ends at total comprehensive income, which is the bottom line of profit and loss statement of Bata Shoe Company Limited. So the revenue of a company indicates what the company earns. Now, let's look at the sales revenue. If you want to measure the sales revenue, you can simply look at the stores of Bata. Bata usually generates its revenue by selling shoes, bags, or other items. But in reality, finding out sales revenue is not as simple as it looks. Over here, we'll focus on net sales rather than gross sales. To find out net sales, we need to deduct some deductions from gross sales. So what are the deductions? These deductions include customers discount. Bata might give some coupons to their customers and customers will discount against their coupon. So customers discounts needed to be deducted from gross sales. Then returns. Products which are sold to the customer by Bata might be returned because some of the products might be faulty and customer will return their faulty product. So all the returns need to be adjusted with gross sales. And finally, but I also need to consider allowances. So if the butter deduct discounts, returns, and allowances from gross sales, butter will get the net sales. However, sales revenue is not always so easily defined or measured because many companies have vertical business lines, and in this case it is really difficult to find out the sales which has been generated internally. Then companies like Bata have international sales. So Bata needs to convert in international sales in one currency. So therefore, companies which have international sales, it is quite difficult to measure the sales revenue. Let's look at the cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold can be measured, can be labeled as purchase or the conversion cost. To find out the cost of goods sold, we need to consider the cost of product or raw materials. So Bata definitely has raw materials to prepare its finished goods like bags or shoes. These raw materials has also got shipping costs. So all of these costs are needed to be considered when Bata calculates its cost of goods sold. Then Bata needs to also consider the direct labor cost. People who are working in the factories of Bata are directly involved in the production procedure of Bata, and the cost of those labor will be labeled as direct labor cost, which is also part of cost of goods sold. Then direct overhead cost. For example, a storage cost of raw materials or finished goods are considered as direct overhead cost. And finally, but also need to consider adjustment or depreciation of goods. Some of its raw materials might destroyed over the time. Even the finished goods of the Bata like shoes or bags might destroyed over the time or might destroyed in values over the time. So Bata needs to consider depreciation. These costs will be considered as cost of goods sold. In your next lecture, we'll focus on expenses of profit and loss statement.